Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Father, we declare that we love you. We declare our resting in the Father. Oh, exalt the name of Jesus. Magnify the Lord with me. Exalt the name of Jesus. Magnify the Lord with me. Exalt the name of Jesus. Magnify the Lord with me. Exalt the name of Jesus. Magnify the... Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Wise Builders. I'm really sorry tonight we are running behind schedule. Not my fault, but the network was just fluctuating, so I had to be swapping between networks. Good evening. Good evening, Mommy Agro. Good evening. Bless you, ma. Thank you. God bless you too, ma. Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Dayolomo. God bless you, sir. Tokubo. Oluwayomi Joseph. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're really sorry. I think we're just about almost 30 minutes behind schedule. Oh my days, sorry. I just didn't give up. It was really frustrating. Good evening, welcome on board. Let's just wait a few minutes, friends, to allow other people to join. Good evening, you're welcome to the Wise Builders. My name is Dolapo Agoradeniyi, and I present the Wise Builders every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. UK time. If today is your first time on this platform, you're welcome, and if you're returning, you're welcome as well. Just give me about 2 more minutes for other people to come on board before I introduce the topic of the night. Thank you. Calvary of Freedom Evangelical Ministry, my Pastor Ajayi, Israel Ajayi. Thank you, sir. God bless you. I cite you, man of God. Bless you, sir. Olumide Mike Adeni, my Baba Alko. Bless you. Bless you. Olubukola Adeni Rotimi, bless you. As many people online, even those silent observers that I can't see. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you. You're welcome. And sorry for starting late. It was down to internet fluctuating. Nothing of my fault. I was set before time. But I think internet was just temperamental tonight. Thank you everyone for standing by us. Reliable God. Reliable, we serve a reliable God. Oh, unchangeable God. Oh, unchangeable God. Unchangeable God. Good evening, everyone, and you're welcome to the Wise Builders tonight. Like I said, my name is Olakwa Goradini. If tonight is your first time on this platform, and if you're returning, you're welcome. I'm going to read the topic for tonight. So I earlier on shared it on my platform. For some of you that had not seen it, I'm going to read it and then we take you from there. The way we roll on the Wise Builders here is we do it together. I just present, we're all wise building. So I'm going to read the scenario, this live scenario. I'm going to read it out to us. Some of us, we've experienced it, not that it's happened to you, people that it's happened to before, or you're professionals, you know how to handle such. Please tonight drop your comments as I present. I read out your comments and then we'll take you from there. There was a man that called and had this situation at hand. He said his wife is a sex maniac, a staunch worker. She's a Christian, a staunch worker in church. He said she demands sex every night and she's not easily satisfied. That is to say, they go on several rounds and then the lady is still not satisfied. The husband said he's exhausted and can no longer cope with the demands. He already bought her a sex toy and the man is threatening to separate. Now, he feels ashamed to seek help because of family dignity. To be honest with you, it's not easy in Africa, or maybe you're from a black origin to, dignity to go to a third party, even to your doctor, to start talking to them that your wife is, has problem with sex, or she has unsatiable appetite in sex. So things like that are kind of difficult. So I reason with him. So that is the topic we have tonight. So please drop your comments. What do you think about this? How do we resolve this situation? The man is threatening to divorce his wife. I'm just putting on my Instagram. Good evening, Instagram. Thank you very much, friends and family. And we're live on YouTube as well. The internet has been so funny. So like I said, you're welcome, everybody. I've read the scenario out to you. Basically, there are a few issues in tonight's topic. Usually when we hear stories like this, it's all about a man has insatiable appetite for sex. But in this situation, this regard, is the woman. And this afternoon, I was trying to pick one or two people's mind. A young chap that is about in his late 20s, about 29, going to 30. And he had an experience actually. So it gave me a life experience that indeed, because sometimes when you're speaking and you're counseling, sometimes you think maybe the victim or the person asking you for advice is exaggerating. So because I'm a woman, so I thought the guy was exaggerating, and I felt, how would a woman be that insatiable that a man will not satisfy her? But this young chap this afternoon said to me, indeed, Pastor, that things are happening, and he's met somebody like that, and it was a difficult one. So the issues that we have tonight, basically, I'm going to highlight the issues. Is there's a sex maniac, you know, the woman is a sex maniac, as in she enjoys sex. In this case, it's called nymphomaniac because it's a woman. If it's a man, it's not nymphomaniac, but it's a woman. So we have this issue. The man says the woman demands for everyone joining online. Curtis Henry and couple Folashade Ogundeji for looking at it. Well, thank you very much. I can see you, but I don't want to be distracted, so I'm going to go on. If you want me to say hello to you, just drop a comment, give me a thumbs up, and I'll look up and I'll just shout out to you. Bless you. Otherwise, after the show, I'll just say hello to everybody. So there's this man that complained that he's finding it extremely difficult, you know, and because of that, he can't go on with his marriage because the woman is demanding excessive sex. And excessive sex is in the sense that, you know, several rounds and every day, several rounds, sometimes 2-3 times in a day, weekends. And the man said at the initial stage he was trying to keep up, but you know, with busy lifestyle, work and everything, a man comes home, he wants to give you, you know, wants to consummate his marriage, at least one, you know, one good sex night, the night for you to go to bed. But the woman keeps going for hours according to him, and she doesn't reach orgasm, and then she's kind of insatiable, and the man is like, I'm tired, and the woman is like, I'm not coming, or whatever language we say, and then the man is like, this woman is going to kill me. So the man has got to a state that he said he can no longer. And somebody dropped a comment. The only comment I got on Facebook today is that the man should separate. This is a for better for worse. It's a married couple, you know. And like I always say, that phrase for better for worse, you won't say because your wife is demanding sex excessively, you're going to go for separation. But at the same time, your health. Yeah, we have to think about the man's health, because initially I was like, the easy thing for us, you have to, is your headache, you have to just sort it out. You're married for better, for you get stuck with that, you have to work it out. But there are a lot of issues, and I'm going to deal with those issues one after the other tonight. Drop your comment if you have anything to say. You see, this afternoon I was thinking about something, and I said, oh, Pastor, you know, sex before marriage is getting so popular now, despite the fact that we know that the word of God is clearly against it. You preserve your dignity, you preserve your body as a sacrifice unto your God. But issues like this makes unbelievers and even some Christian believers, you know, say to you, Pastor, and they laugh at us. And let's talk realistically. How many of the members in the church are really, you know, keeping themselves, are really not testing themselves out? In a way, you can't blame them. Like I said, I don't judge anyone on this platform. I'm very, very realistic. You know, we can't blame them. Today I was thinking, I said, okay, oh my God, peradventure if this guy had tested this woman before marriage, peradventure he would have opted out. There was a young man's case I had years ago, you know, was a third party information. So that he was dating this lady, and the lady was a child girl worker and everything. This woman too is a worker, and she was pretending she didn't want the guy to touch her because she knows. Meanwhile, she was satisfying herself behind with another guy outside of the church. But within the church, she was doing holier than thou, servicing herself outside because she knows she has insatiable sex. So I think men had been to the church and they've dumped her, following, trying her out, and the sister decided, okay, I'm going to be holier than thou, no sex before marriage. They both agreed no sex before marriage, and then this guy didn't know. So I think just pre-married, their marital arrangement, or just pre-marriage, because they were not married before the guy opted out. The guy just insisted, I need to, and both of them consented to it. The guy said after the first time, he didn't return back there. He was like, this thing was just like, oh my days. The guy said he said if he had continued, he would have died in that marriage from from what I gathered in that relationship. So today I was thinking and I was smiling at myself at my desk whilst I was doing this research that, this idea of sex without marriage, it has pros and cons. But the larger advantage is larger benefit is to our advantage, which is keep yourself. Because if you say because you want to test if you're going to be compatible, during marriage, then how many men are you going to test? How many women are we going to test? So all these things are interwoven. So let's talk about this issue tonight. I'm not going to go straight to the Bible, but I will come in out of the Bible. The major Bible chapter or verse that talks about this is, okay, I'm just going to go down. I'm not sure if some people are, okay, nobody's commenting. Good evening, ma. Mommy, Modupe Motola, my mommy. Good evening. Well done. Thank you, my mommy, ma. And thank you, ma. God bless you, ma. So I'm going to the major Bible scripture, the scripture that talks about this is 1 Corinthians 7, 4-6. I'm going to read it. The man has tried to really adhere to this, which says 1 Corinthians 7 verses 4-6. He said, the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife. Do not deprive one another, because this man has tried not to deprive one another, but his life is at stake now. His life is at risk now, because he's trying not to deprive his wife of his conjugal rights or matrimonial rights. But this thing is getting out of hand. Do not deprive one another except by mutual consent for a limited time. This one is not even allowing limited time. This one is every night. How can they even fast? It is every night. So you may devote yourself to prayer, then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you through lack of self-control. So like I said, this issue we have is totally out of this context. The man is trying his best. He said he tried. Maybe he was exaggerating, but he said he tries every night, or weekends during the day when they wake up in the morning. But this woman wants rounds and she does not get satisfied. So I've highlighted the issues. Please drop your comment. I've highlighted the issues that is on ground tonight. One, like I said, she's a sex maniac. This can come in a woman or a man, but for those ones called nymphomaniac, this one is because it's a woman. It's only a woman that can be we always call them nympho. Nympho is a woman, They like to have sex often. And it's a lot, it's with different men. They are insatiable. A man. This one, the man said he actually gave her a sex toy. For the man to think, before you kill me. And then the fear sets in that when he's not around, maybe she's doing it with neighbors, or if I'm in bed with you and for hours you are not satisfied, the man has released once or twice, men, out there, and the woman keeps going and saying, you do more, you do me more, and she's not reaching cloud, she's not reaching heaven, she's not reaching earth, she's suspended, it is off it. The man is always like, this woman, the poor man had gone to buy a sex toy to give it to her that, sometimes when the man is tired, he will start using it on her. And then for her to have it, this sex toy issue is getting so common nowadays. We are going to get to it in a minute. Please drop your comment. But, the most important thing is the woman, she demands sex every night, insatiable sex. He's got her a sex toy. Now he's had it up to here and is ready to leave the marriage. Should he leave the marriage because of this? These are issues at stake, And then there's something very, very important that I feel, and when I was speaking with him, it's very common with our men and African men. It's about ashamed to seek help because of family dignity. Now, if we do not seek help because of family dignity, eventually we will seek help, or the dignity will be rubbished eventually when we divorce. Because divorce, this kind of thing, if we are not careful, okay, there's a comment, Emmanuel Buraimo, God bless you, my brother. 1 Corinthians 14 verses 40, let everything be done orderly and in moderation. Philippians 4:7. This one, there's no moderation, so you have to talk about that. Thank God your kind of work covers those things, because I've had a chat with you, sir. So now, like I was trying to say, people find it, we Africans, we think of our dignity. Yes, there's dignity, and as far as practicably, We should try and keep the family dignity. But seeking help is not exposing your family dignity. You have to pick and be careful of where you go, but you have to seek help. Because if you don't seek help now, it's going to get, thank God that this man took, step. I don't know his identity. Some people will use some um names that is not real name, a profile names to ring me on messenger. I'm not out there to know your identity. That's not my calling. My calling is to reach out to you to meet the need as God has given me grace to do. But some after developing will reveal their identity to say, oh, so can we see you? Sometimes, and I signpost them to other people that I know are within their reach. But what I'm trying to say is, in this issue, there's a lot of, in this case rather, there's some underlying issues, which I think is psychological. And if we are very patient, because we are quick to be honest with you, years ago, I will just say, what kind of unbeliever is this? It's more than that. If you are not in somebody's shoes, you cannot judge them. Some people have gone through issues of life. Things like this has a lot of root cause that if we don't deal with, we can't deal on the surface and say the man should leave her. She's poor. Some of us, especially believers, say, what kind? Hello, Instagram. God bless you, everyone. Some of us will say, what kind of Christian is this? She's not a good Christian. She's not even born again. How can she not control her addiction? You don't know what people have gone through. And some people are fighting with things. So, from the description of our guy here, he says his wife is insatiable and does not reach orgasm, or whatever you call it, does not come orgasm or whatever you call it in hours. Not that she does not, she does, but it takes long. By which time the man said he's so exhausted. Can you imagine your husband has gone to work? He's come back and he's trying to be a man in the night, and then you are not coming, you are not going, you are whatever language you are using, and then the man is saying, before I die, I beg, I have to leave. As in, before this woman kills me, I have to leave this marriage. So in this case now, it has become an addiction. It has become an addiction. I'm reading another comment. Men should discard macho, masculine ego and seek help before things get out of hand. Thank you very much. That's Emmanuel Buramo. Yeah, ego is finishing all our men, and they're saying, no, I can't discuss my marriage. I can't do this. If you have an issue and you have tried within your home to resolve it and it's not resolving, instead of it, because this issue can really be worked on and we'll get there. The issue, like I said to you, somebody commented today and said, oh, separation. I will say run for your life before, but that's not the way out. So the man is tired. There's an addiction in this. And I was trying to research, and whilst I was preparing for this afternoon, it's a kind of addiction that is not confirmed. It doesn't have a confirmed diagnosis because it's kind of different. It's not, I'm reading another comment. Men should, Emmanuel Burama says, excuse me, they should seek not only spiritual through marriage counseling, but medical one. Thank you, sir. I'm still coming to that. Oh, Pastor Grace McApple, where have you been? Bless you, woman of God. So thank you very much. I know you are a source of wealth of information. Thank you, sir. True. We're going to get to that. You see, this is an addiction. It is an addiction. And then it's difficult because even medically, sex addiction, unlike every other addiction, like drug, like alcohol, like all other ones, like games and everything, like gambling, all those addiction, right? Over the time, they've confirmed them, they've done research, and there's a diagnosis, and they know things to look out for, and they'll say, but sex, they know it's an addiction, but it's not being categorized under the groups of addiction, but at the same time it's an addiction, simply because of religious and cultural norms. Like things like this, people don't come out to talk about it. Culturally, it's difficult to identify. Men do not go out and will be dying in silence. And then instead of resolving it, we are buying sex toy. We are looking for
for ways to just do. We're trying to do our thing within the home, and that will not work, you know. And for example, now, because of the cultural norms and religious norm, if we look at it, one man's meat is another man's poison. A man out there might say, "Oh my days, why would I not marry?" Because usually when I hear cases like this, is a woman saying, "My husband is a sex maniac. This man wants to kill me. He will not allow me to rest every night." So usually in a situation like this, a man will be out there to be saying, "Oh la la, why can you not pass this woman to me?" For example, if a man is so randy and he has high sexual urge, he might want to be married to this kind of woman, and both of them will just be having honeymoon. So, because of these cultural norms and religious norms, scientifically, we do not have a real. It's not. It's confirmed that it's sex addiction, but it's not categorized per se under sex, under those group of addiction. So I'm going to talk briefly on what an addiction is. Addiction is the fact of or condition of being addicted to a substance or activity. We all know addiction. So this falls slightly on it because this is a kind of activity. It's not drug, it's not substance, but it's an activity. So that is addiction. So we generalize it now under sexual addiction. Otherwise, we'll not be able to treat it. And once we see it from that side, for example, if you have somebody taking drug, and that is the case with this guy, your wife has a high sex demand. You're struggling to cope with her. Then you're going to give her a sex machine. You are going to finish her life one day. One day, the sex machine will not work. She will pick to the street or to your gate man or to the neighbor. Because with the sex machine, very soon, I don't know how it does them, and I will never know how it does them in Jesus' name. I'm sure she's not going to get the gratification she wants from there. Now, the husband is helping us to use this to choke the place, or they are doing it wherever they do in their bedroom. That is their, with no disrespect to them. But what I'm just trying to say is, at some point, the husband will not be at home. Maybe the woman will do it. I don't know whether they do it on them by themselves. She will do it. The whole thing will not do, or she will not get the satisfaction, and she will go out. It's like a man that is drinking. Oh, thank God for we have a lot of specialists online, and people have drug or alcohol addiction, and you are giving them more. You are giving them more. You are giving them more. You are helping them to fuel it. It will never be a way out. So, how do you treat an addiction? What can the husband do to help? Is leaving her, please drop your comment, is leaving her um the way out? Thank you, my darling. Thank you. I can see your thumbs up. Thank you. Is leaving this woman the way out? It's a capital no. Whilst trying to help somebody, however, I was trying to think, and then I thought about it. This man already psychologically is messed up, because you see, there has to be a fine tune. We have to balance it. Yes. And that's why I read that scripture, 1 Corinthians 7:4-6, that Paul says, "Deprive ye not one another," as in, don't deprive each other of sex. These guys are Christian, they are workers in church. Now, because this guy doesn't want to deprive the woman, he keeps doing it, and now his health is at stake. So what do we do? What is the solution? It's for better, for worse. Is a Christian, divorce is not allowed, and he wants to. He says that the wife is a good woman. The only thing is this thing, this major issue. So now what he's trying to do, what do we say the woman should do? He must ensure his own peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, and that's why I said to him, that how do you feel about this whole thing? And he said he feels gutted. According to he said, "I feel gutted, excuse me, that's tired of the whole thing, it's depressing, it's a lot of emotions." So what do we do? Do we say the man, in order to consummate this marriage, should he continue to go on 3 hours or 2 hours sex, and the woman will not reach orgasm? So what can be done? It's easy to say. To be honest with you, the easiest thing would have been say, this woman will kill you. Just leave him one day. But I think she needs help. And as many people, and that's why I'm doing this, as many people that please let them know that there's still hope for that marriage. To what level, I'm posing this question out, I'm throwing the question out, to what level do you go out of your way to assist your spouse in such a relationship? And I threw that question out this afternoon. You have to understand to what level. We all want to be there for our spouses. We want to be there for our husband. We want to be there for our wife. We want to make sure that we are doing the right thing. Like I said earlier when I started, sometimes when you see unbelievers saying, even believers, they say it nowadays. There's no, if I counsel 10 young babes or 10 young guys, all of them are insisting that, Pastor, forget about it. I will test my wife before that's the epidemic that we have outside now because of situations like this. You want to say, okay, if they have tested themselves, it's not right biblically. We're not encouraging it. It shouldn't be done. But I like to face reality so that these guys, when they listen to it, then they know how to divide it and understand that, okay, there's a way out. Because people always say, um, they have to test it, and if they can't test it, no going. And most of them say they want to test it. And you want to think behind my mind at my desk today, behind my desk, I was thinking, actually, that's true. If the guy has tested, you will have said, oh my God, this one is going to kill me. Will have run for his dear life. And the woman will say, oh, I'm not compatible. Maybe she will have continued to try until she finds whoever she's compatible. But this guy is stuck now. That is not the way out, because you are not supposed to. Because how many men are you going to test? How many? When the Bible says, we know marriage is honorable in all, when the bed is undefiled, it's for our own good. You keep defiling yourself, several spirits, several man, you sin against God and it's against your body. You don't really need it. How many men are you going to sleep with to know the one that you're compatible with? I'm going to read this comment. Emmanuel Brahma, thank you, sir. Living her should not be the first option unless on a very exceptional and unavoidable reasons. Thank you. Living her, okay, you repeated that. Should be for a very compelling reason. Thank you very much. That's very, very true. So we should understand, men, please understand that your own mental health should be taken care of as well. We are trying, remember, there are two people involved. The victim, this lady, let's not talk about victim because they're a couple. This our woman that's very active, let's be polite, she's very active sexually, right? And this normal guy that's trying his best. We have to understand the fact that this guy too has a life, because one of the things we always forget when we have a demanding issue, the demanding guy or demanding spouse, is we are trying, because the Bible says, marriage is one, you cannot divorce. We're not talking about divorce. Then the man, the other party, you're working hard, you're doing everything. As it is in the side of a woman, it is sometimes in the side of a man. And this poor innocent man is trying to do everything. What if he slumps and he has heart attack and he could not cope? The demand is too high. So another comment, Emmanuel Barama, they should both talk and agree to seek appropriate counsel. Thank you very much, sir. So some of the symptoms that when somebody has a sex addiction is the heart of control. They always have this compulsion. Nothing spoils them every time. Every time it's Christmas. There's no dull moments. It has to be something excessive, compulsive masturbation. Pornography is one thing that we're going to talk about. And these things, when I start talking about the roots now, pornographic use, multiple affairs, these are symptoms. There are things that has happened, is a trend. When they have unsatisfactory sex life, that person has spoiled herself with pornography. Because we have to understand, and the guy has to understand. Nobody. I was trying to do a research this afternoon. This thing took me hours, and I was just like, oh my God, it's not as simple as I thought it was initially. When I got the call, I just canceled on the surface, and that's why I always bring it live, so that after the show they can go there and read and listen to what everybody said. And after giving the counsel, I thought, is the woman, this. But there's so much to it. There's so much to it. This thing, nobody. Listen attentively to me. If you're out there, you're suffering from this, or you fall into a category like this. Nobody is born with an addiction. Nobody. It's our ways of life, what we have been exposed to, that accumulates into an addiction. For example, nobody was born as a drug addict. It's because they are exposed to drugs, they started using drugs, it becomes uncontrollable. So before, because I was thinking, could it be that she had a big vagina, or she has a big no? Yeah, it's because of the fact that it could have been that she started having sex early, she was raped, or she was introduced to sex, and then sometimes they use it to cover up some internal or some underlying issues going on in their life. It's just like somebody that drinks, that has an alcohol. So when they go to a counselor, cognitive counselors, the first thing they try to find out is what is going on in your life. What are you trying? Because it's just like somebody that has issues. You down your alcohol every day just to cover up your pain and everything. So it now becomes a trend, a way of life that without you seeing it, you cannot cope. So this is the kind of things that they exhibit. Is because some of them are used to pornography. Maybe they went to secondary school and they, gay people do things, and then obviously the way we react to things. Some of us can drink alcohol or have sex, and then you clean up and you become born again and say no. And some people just give themselves to it. That's why you see two people, the way they react to things differs so much. So that's a problem. But I'm going to go on to the effects. That's how you know how deep these things are. They are not things that a man can just say, you see, we have tried everything. No, it's about deep is deep. So the effect it has on any relationship, when you discover such, like this man, I will give kudos to this man. Before he sought help, the man has battled with this thing for a very long time. One of the things that this thing does is it leads to infidelity eventually. Because one day, the man is tired. Before a man will buy a sex toy for his wife, is a signal to say, in my language, they will say, Makpami, don't kill me. Makpami means don't kill me. I have tried my best. Please be using this thing to do the thing. So a man will feel hungry, betrayal that I'm trying everything, lack of trust. Such a woman, let's be realistic. Even if you're a pastor, you don't want to leave such a woman by herself. You are scared to even go on holiday. You are at home, she's not allowing you to rest. I remember there was a guy that told me something like this years ago about a particular lady. The guy said, but I didn't know, we're kind of young, we're in the uni then, that his girlfriend was in Satibu and then she had multiple sex partner and everything. But we were just thinking she was cheap. But we don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't know then. We will have asked the lady what's leading to this. So effects, cumulative effect of this thing is it leads to separation, like we're talking divorce and disgrace, family disgrace, the dignity that you don't want to expose now, you're eventually going to expose it when things get completely out of hand. But saying all these things, I like to always talk about the solution. What is the way out? Sorry, I think our Instagram stuff is 1 second, please. I'm going back on Instagram. Oops. Sorry, Instagram. Sorry. We lost the connection on Instagram. All right. Thank you very much. Bless you. Now we're back on Instagram. So sorry. What is the way out when we're in such situation? What is the way out for this one? Thank God for our brother Emmanuel Bramo. He's tried to provide few solutions, but I'm going to read few things that I've jotted down tonight because I did a lot of brainstorming research on it. I taught and I spoke to people, one or two guys, to put themselves in the shoes, a young chap and an elderly person, now elderly like around 50, to say, if this was, a Christian, I've got a situation at hand, what do you think? I actually said to one or two of them, do you want to come on stage with me? Men are so shy. They're like, I don't want to get involved. So we give kudos to our brother Emmanuel out there that's commenting. Situation like this, men will just be quiet. They don't like to voice their opinion. So what do we think? Should we think the man should leave? Should he continue to struggle to meet up? I don't know what your answers are on these two questions. Should the man leave? And I've kind of given some few hints on my trail of thought, but I feel the man should not leave, and I don't think he should continue to struggle. So it's two things: he should stay, but he should not struggle. So if that is the case, what is the way out? The first thing, like I said it from what my explanation earlier, it was a capital wrong decision to get a sex toy. Capital wrong decision to continue. You can never satisfy somebody that is insatiable. It's like somebody that is a drug addict. He or she will crave for drug, and when they don't see it, it's withdrawal. Their body will be shaking. But there are ways, and if you go to hospitals, mental health hospitals, when they are treating those that has addiction, they gradually. So one of the things the man should have done is withdraw. It's a therapy. which we are going to go through in a minute. Excuse me, if you are having it 2 hours, you have to sit down, like mature. Though he said he has spoken with that, but I'm sure it's out of frustration, it's out of anger. Men, and put yourself in the shoes, even if you're not working and you are going, the man that come like once or twice had orgasm, and the woman is saying, ah, baby, 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 baby. I had a scenario about a lady as well, when the young chap was talking to me about his own experience, that he had to pick his clothes and run. The woman packaged everything. She would not allow him to do. But the moment he said he went, they had sex like this, and the woman was like, you cannot go. After coming like twice, the woman said, okay, when you are tired, put your feet inside of it. It's supposed Christian worker. The guy said, okay, if it has come to this one, if I will call dog to come and help us to do. He said he did not wait to carry. He realized when he got into his car that he left his jacket there. When you run for your life. So, but this kind of thing, on a more serious note, what do we do? What is the way out for this guy? For marriage is for better, for us. You have married her, and that is why it's not good to. We have a discourse here. Some people will say, I remember there was a video of a man of God. I'm not giving his name out, that does video relationships, an American. And he said something. Coincidentally, I was at work that day, just popped up and I was watching it. And he said something that people should, if I had that word from him for the first time, I've never had it. Yara and brain, go and borrow yourself a brain. I started laughing, that people should try their men. Then later I started changing. I'm not saying you should try out sex, but go and try and medically try and know whether the man is able to do so. Similarly, in this kind of a thing, it's difficult to take your wife. I don't think there's any medical test that can examine somebody's vagina and say she's going to be very randy or she's a nymphomania. Or I think medically, they can only test whether you're a virgin or not. I stand to be corrected. I'm not in the medical line. I'm a legal person. So medically, they can only check. But when it comes to libido, as in the amount of time, I think for the man, they are able to determine whether a woman is randy. It's only when it's done. So going by what I said earlier on about the discourse about should they be allowed to sex before? No, you wouldn't, because of that. Because I have to sound this warning. You won't, because I'm mentioning it because out of 20 people I counsel, 18 will tell you that they will try their man or woman because of something like this, because people have had experiences. And remember that where the children of God are gathered, the children of the devil are there. Not everybody in church is genuinely born again. Not that they are devil, but people are still, some are new, some are new beginners. They are the new converts, some are old ones, some are losing faith. That's why we do the dedication every time, because affairs and issues of life make some people to say, well, I can't kill myself. By and large, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of struggle in marriages, but because of these things, there's a way out. Don't, because of that, dump your wife. Don't dump this woman, but at the same time, don't continue to fuel it. It's like somebody that is alcoholic and you are giving her more and more and more and more. More and more will not. So the first thing is, if both of you used to, people like this, you find out that they have a very wild sex life. They watch pornography. First, sit her down, do away with things that can fuel our orgasm. Things that, let things now start being natural. Both of you start warming towards yourself. Anything that's any mad, exotic things that you guys get involved with. Because like I said to you, there's a mindset to this. There's a background. There's a lot of things that have gone on before. Pastor Magabo, if there is true love, both couple has to compromise. Else he surely needs deliverance. Yes, that's what we're trying to say. The man is trying to compromise, but compromising that wants to kill him. Which way? I understand what you're saying, woman of God. Thank you very much. Both of them, there's true love, and that's why this guy is screaming out. He will have gone since. They've been years in this marriage, but the man said it's impacting on his health. So, yeah, you see, sometimes what we call deliverance, it might not be we preach. So I'm beg to differ. I know you're a woman of God. I obviously things like this we approach it from the spiritual, but thinking today, it's it's like what the Bible says, be renewed by the transformation of your mind. Sometimes the mindset is also working. You find out that if they follow tips and they work on themselves, at the end of the day, this woman might not even need a laying of hands, and she'll be okay. Remember this, it might not, yeah, every other thing, I understand what you're saying. To some is like demonic, like the spirit of Jezebel spirit. Like there was nothing in the Bible actually that said this Jezebel was sleeping about. It's just the way that she depicts with all her long days. So we always say, when we see someone like that, we say she's Jezebel spirit. Jezebel will be crying in heaven, because Jezebel, the Bible didn't say Jezebel was sleeping with several men, but she just has some character that is weird, and because of what she was doing, the man of God, and she was she was wicked and manipulative, taking somebody else's land and all those things. But what we're trying to say is, they say some of them, they have, especially if you go to all these deliverance ground, they have some. So I remember when I was in uni and I joined a deliverance session. We'll go to the sports center, maybe those days, and we'll start casting out demon, imaginary demon, and people will be saying, they say serpentine spirits. Where I was, I'll be shaking and say, your life has come to. They send you to school, you are started doing serpentine spirit. Innocent sister that we see with weave on, they will say they are serpentine and everything. Some are demonic, but not all of them. I'm reading another comment. Okay. And look, this is not a satanic problem. They need to see a sex therapist that can help. Thank you very much, my sister. I'm still comments to that. I was just answering that. Thanks, Anolu Akpo. Sometimes I agree with what Pastor. She's a pastor. She's a woman of God. The first thing a pastor will do is approach you from the spiritual. She's done well. We'll have to approach you from the spiritual to see, is there a spirit attached to this? But in some of these cases, 90%, that's why we lay hand, put anointing on sometimes, and we don't think, because it's not spiritual. It is just a psychological thing, that bad pattern of life. It's like somebody that is drinking has been exposed. Somebody that is drunk, you need rehabilitation. You just need to rehabilitate that person, and therapists, and work on that person's mind, cognitive behavior therapist, and that person will be okay. So this kind of person is, like I said earlier from the beginning of the video, what was she exposed to? Maybe she's a child that started having sex as early, and multiple sex partner, threesome. Some people's vagina becomes so big or slack or whatever, that a man is not enough. Because they are used to two men doing it together. Some men will be touching them on top, another in the evening, so they're kind of, so their emotions is gone really wild. So now she needs a man to really, now she's married, and she needs a man to fill the space of three men. Maybe something that three men have been doing before. Yeah, you may say it's the spirit of a dog, but it is not a dog that's sleeping with her. It's a human being that's turned into that. Some people who grew up in worse situation, in ghetto, their people family have abused them. People sleep with, if you hear people's testimony, if you hear people, I'm on the streets, like I said to you, and I hear people's testimony. Sometimes when we hear this testimony, we know it has nothing to do with devil. We know it is just that bad attitude, ways of life. So counseling is very, very good. Like Anolu Akpo said, the husband shouldn't abort a sex toy at all. It's the wrong thing. And I said to him, go and stop. And if you are out there, you have a high sex urge, don't use sex toy. You are going to mess up your life, because especially even if you're not married, your body is the temple of the Most High God, dignified. But why are you using something to choke yourself? It's not going to give you joy. You find that these people, one of the things you find out, and the man should sit her down before even going out. Like you said, family dignity, doesn't want to speak out. You might find out that both of you might be able to resolve it if she's cooperative. Pastor Yetunde Adeshile, bless you, aside you, man of God. And when you find out that she might be able to cope all these exuberances, it's things that it has become habitual over the time. Like I said, and maybe after they marry, some of us, when they marry, remember, some people when they marry, they are not born again. They got married and they're introduced to faith. So they're used to. A lot of people start watching pornography when they're not, even people in the church. I still see people that have told me today, the pornography. I think I've done a film, a video on that last year or sometime, to say pornography to them is no big deal. Their husband, some men or some women need these stimulants to put them in kind of, which is absolutely uncalled for. But what we are trying to say in this is the man should sit at all those exuberances, sex toy, pornography, watching pornography to search. Just tell her first, baby, we have to dispel these things. We have to do away with these things. It's not going to help us. Then think of ways. If you are doing evils too, you can't. Just like I mentioned earlier on, like somebody suffering from drug addiction, such person, and you are giving that. Usually, I think in drug, people working in mental health, they give them like methadone, or depends on whatever they are, but they give them lower dose. You have to. It's a therapy, but you can't say because she's got high addiction, you will not sleep with her. No, you will. But if she's doing 3 rounds, both of you will have to get yourself busy. Maybe go to gym, start a program, start something that takes her mind off. Remember, she's just using this to fuel some kind of emotions in her. There's a deep hollow in her. There's something that's made her get to this level. Is it that bad gang? Is it that group sex? Is it that high level of pornography or whatever? But she's met herself in this mess before she married you. Nobody, like I said with you earlier on, go and do your research. Nobody is born with an addiction. We end up with an addiction as a way of life, what you are exposed to. So she's been exposed to exotic sex. She's been exposed to maybe multiple sex that's made her urge for sex increase so badly. So her husband, you are the one. Bless you, Pastor Malala Yewusi. God bless you, man of God. The first thing you can do is you have to help her. Sit her down, baby. You are my wife. You're not going anywhere. I know you are tired now. Well done, man. You have done very, very well. In fact, some men will have run away. Like the young man that told me that yeah, I did it once, and the woman was saying, "Put your leg, put your head." After coming twice, and he said, yeah, reaching orgasm, and the woman said, "It's not coming. No, she's not coming. No, you see a third round. Okay, you are tired, baby. Okay, put your leg." Say, put your leg. A Christian sister, believer, born again. Okay, I'm coming. He said he left the house without his jacket. He got inside his car to realize, oh my days, jacket is there. If I dash you my jacket, and he ran for his dear life. But you are married. What God has done to get women out there, don't because of this be so selfish. And you know your addiction. Don't put innocent man. You may not see a man like this. Some of the divorces outside, sometimes we don't. You may not see a man as this, as good. It is a good man that's really tried for years, because his marriage is close to 5 years, and he's really tried everything. Such men will have just told you that, okay, I'll see you. I got job transfer. I'm going to America. From America to Europe. From Europe to he will just run away. But this man has stood with you. So this man, we have to give him kudos. He's a very honorable man. But man, I know you're tired. The Lord will renew your strength. Not that I'm not taking a make or joking. But what I'm trying to say is, you have tried, but there's going to be way. I'm going to read a comment before I go on. And Oluwapo, there are some people with very high sex drive, and it's just who they are. Some people are not sexually abused nor had many sex partners. This is why churches have to counsel, and in all ramification, you do what is needed to know who you want to spend the rest of your life with, so much as this shouldn't occur. I know, Oluwapo, you two say they should test drive before marriage. That has been a major issue that people are saying to me lately. Thank you, my friend. A lot of people are saying they have to test because of this issue of women covering up or men covering up. Because in all fairness, but we know it's not allowed as believers. So please, believers, this man could have left you if he wanted to do for deceit, because that is deceit. You know that, but except you. But I beg to differ, Anoluwapo. You cannot. You need sex drive. I did my research, but sex drive, our addiction, and the way. Let's even not use addiction. Your sex drive. It's not as if normal thing that like a man wants to sleep, but when whatever you expose yourself to, This high sex drive, as I researched so much on this, has to do with either all these multiple, yes, multiple. You see, you can't just have a high sex. Nobody is born with a high sex drive. Yeah, people can be around. It's what you have exposed you find out that these people, even men that have sex drive, it starts from when you're young, you're not satisfied with one girlfriend, you enjoy sex. Everybody enjoys sex. Sex is good. Let's be very, very factual. This is for adults. We're all mature adults. Sex is good. But, we don't use it to spoil ourselves. You eat it just like normal food. You like food, you cook rice, and because it's sweet, you cook and eat and eat and eat and eat until you burst. No. It's about controlling, self-control. We have to put self-control in light of what we're doing now. So I'm going to read another comment before. I don't want that to go. Okay, Pastor Grace Macabo, what if they are in a country where there is no sex therapist or counsel? Is the Bible not enough? Where I come from, it's an offense to talk about sex. What's the best way out? Thank you very much, woman of God. This is very, very factual. In Africa, for example, nowadays, by the grace of God, and I like what Anolu Akpo said, you see, we pastors, we have to help. A lot of things is happening in the church. Yeah, I said things like this that I'm discussing. I cannot stand on the altar and discuss it. Platforms like this, women conferences, are areas that people can ask anonymous questions. I go to women conferences that they wrap questions. We don't know. I encourage people, just drop it in the box as you're coming in. We don't want to know who, but we want to address the question because we don't want to increase the numbers of divorce. People have life issues. They are saved, they are born again in the church, but they are struggling, they are suffering. We have to come to terms. Thank you, woman of God. That's very, very important. Please, people, drop your comment before we round up. Yeah, there are cases, there are situations whereby, okay, let me read this before. If it was the man that has a high sex drive, would the woman consider leaving her husband? Some women have left their husband because of this. I know, we know when we're talking of high sex, it's not, we're not talking about normal sex once every day. No, we're talking about you're doing it now. The thing is lasting 2-3 hours. The woman is dragging you, can't go. I've not come. I've not finished. That's what the man said. Hey, I've not reached. I've not come. I'm up. I'm down. And the man is trying. He said he's released up to twice. The woman is still saying, I'm coming. Put your leg, put your hand, one day you put your head. You don't want to kill the man. So it's a very, very difficult situation. We can't judge anybody here. Sorry, men counselor. Thank you, ma'am. There are sex therapists all over the world right now, even in Africa. Yes, Nigeria. But some people might not be able to afford it. So let's go back what Pastor Macabo said. The Bible can deal with this. Bible talks about moderacy. I read about 1 Corinthians 4:7. Some other men of God dropped some scriptures ahead. If you scroll up, you see about everything the Bible talks about us. We present ourselves. You see, let me tell you, and let's be very, very factual. There's no one that marries as a virgin that you have such a sex drive. Let's be very, very factual. Let's be very, very factual. I don't judge anybody. Like I said to you on this platform, I don't judge anybody, but nobody. You see, every addiction that we have in life, I said it earlier on, is as a result of our exposure. When I was studying today, I came to that conclusion. Nobody is born with any addiction. No child is born with any addiction. If you have a child that's born with sweet tooth, yeah, it can be there. But the more you give that child, if you starve that child of sugary things, it will be minimized. But if you now start talking, it will increase. Likewise, alcohol. Nobody comes to life with alcohol or with drugs, but our gang that we move with, what we expose ourselves to now exposes our vulnerability. So this kind of person, a woman, she's done it for a few times. Pastor Grace Macabo, not really, absolutely not therapists. There's some places that still remote and they don't have therapists. Yes, there's some places. Pastor, she's saying that she knows where she's come from. That there's no therapy. If there are no therapists, let us now talk. And that is the things I'm trying to talk about. Even if there are therapists, they might not be able to afford it. This man is saying for family dignity, he doesn't want to go to any therapist. And that's why I went out of my way. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not mental, I'm a lawyer. But I had to read, I had to do research. I spoke to people, men especially, to find out if you're in this situation. I, as a woman, I use my own experience, you know, to talk, my sexual life experience to talk. I know how a woman will feel. I know a woman's passion, but I realized from what the man explained that this is extraordinary passion. This is definitely gone out of it. It's gone out of it for any normal woman. And by and large, it's all about what we expose ourselves. No woman, yeah, a woman you can be a virgin today. The first man, listen, that sleeps with you is the passion he carries across that will increase your passion. If it's one, it's done it once today, tomorrow, yeah, you enjoy it. But if you have slept with a man that wants to sleep with you 8 times and everything, then your body gets used to it. So this woman that we are talking about, let's be very, very factual. Nobody was born with any high sex desire. Yes, we can have more passion than ourselves, but this erotic using gum gum, or what's this sexual toy to be gumming the thing and choking the thing. Let's be very factual. So if we go by what Mommy Macabo is talking about, it's about the word of God and the man, practical things, but not necessarily. Why I differed initially is about the deliverance thing. It may not need any deliverance. This might just be word of mouth counseling, you sitting your wife down. You say, babe, listen, pray and face it on. Listen to counselors. Like you don't have to go for therapists. You can see a counselor. Speak to your pastor, speak to people that are knowledgeable in things like this. We have a lot of women that counsel, even men now that counseling. We're not taking any money. What I'm doing now, some other people will make money out of it, but I'm just doing as the grace God has given me, because these people are there, and the Spirit of God is upon me, because He has anointed me to preach good news to the brokenhearted, to bind up those that are broken, to give them all of joy instead of mourning and garment of shame and everything. That is why I'm here, that we might be called trees of righteousness, the oak of the Lord. So what we're trying to say is counseling is very good. Like I said, men and women are reluctant to, even with this therapist. I know, let us talk about it. How many women, how many of them access this therapist? They don't. We do not. We are like, I will not go. I will not go. Shame, family dignity. The man said to me that I can't go. Who do I know I'm going to meet? Whether it's somebody that knows somebody before I know, and that is it. So what we should do is cognitive therapy, like they said, is there, which is commonly used for treatment of sexual addiction, because they want to know what triggers it. Is it because, you see, when this therapy sits down with you, they will, all this one that we are guessing, that is their word. They will find out, because they go back to when you first had sex. What was your experience? Maybe you were raped. How many multiple partner? Was the man big? Was it? People that has more easy. They want to know what triggers it. Some people you find out is they feel hopeless. That's the only thing. I know a lady that I don't know, but I've known men. I went somewhere one day and the man was like, I went with another man of God. And then the man knows me, that I'm a pastor, and she knows this particular member of my church. I'm telling you, this happened live and direct. So I went with this man of God, and then the guy saw me and said, oh, pastor, blah, 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 what are you doing in this area? And I'm like, oh, I moved. And it was like, oh, good. So we're just buying this. They were showing me around. And after I left, that's why we Christians, we have to be very careful. After I left, the owner, the guy that is owner of the shop, is very close to the pastor and say, hey, I used to know that woman. Thank God. You see our testimony. Hey, that's in their church somewhere, I won't say, that they had this lady in that church. Oh, that girl can sleep around, that he dated that girl, that she's like a dog, that the girl is, that he ran for his life. So when pastor saw me, he said, Pastor D, I hear you are raising some. I didn't know what he meant. He said, they said this your firebrand. I said, when I heard, I said, hey, till tomorrow. I kind of preached up, I didn't say who it was, and it was a large place. I didn't say who it was, but I'm sure the person will know. But I didn't say where I met the person. I just said, let's just be very, very careful. So what we're trying to say is things like this has to be addressed. Whether the cognitive therapist, whether you are your own therapist, whether it's your counselor, whether sit yourself down, ask the woman, how did we end up like this? How did you end up like this? Stop. Let's take a stock. Let's stop this pornography. Let's stop this sex toy. Maybe you are good, you go and throw it away. And take her on holiday. Both of you can go on holiday. Let her relax. If you're doing it, do foreplay, do everything. Let her, if you are doing 3 hours thing, reduce it to once. Gradually, like they do with people with drug addiction. You take it gradually. It's not something that you just say, I will not give you sex for a week. She will go to your gate man, because this thing, she doesn't have control over it again. And if we look at what Pastor Makabo is saying, then it becomes kind of demonic. For we pastors, we say there's a spirit attached to it. But sometimes, I understand what the woman of God is saying, sometimes there's no spirit attached to it, just is the mind and how to deal with it. So what there's, I know, but there are Christian books, videos, and free women conventions. Wow, it's a shame. Anyways, thank you very much. The video has ended. I just bless God. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, everybody. So by and large, as I finish up and kind of round up on Instagram, I don't know, Facebook just finished, but I've really rounded up. There's the family therapies, which is the withdrawal period that you take her around. You try and see what you can do for her and try and understand where she's coming from, and then speak to her and talk about withdrawal her things, how you can do things together, and one by one the cuts of the video, a Facebook video. Thank you very much. Facebook nowadays, I don't know what's happened. It's not my network, but it's just gone up. But thank God I'm just rounding up, so I'm going to go and comment there after all to really appreciate everybody. But there's the full stream on YouTube if you want to. So basically, it's for the man as well, it's difficult. It's the dealing of feeling of betrayal, anger, address, because he's so angry now. But you should not leave her. The first thing, try and understand where she's coming from. Try and understand this. Okay, I know you are, but thank you. I don't understand it. Facebook is doing funny for us nowadays. So we should try and understand where the woman is coming from. Find out her past. Ask her what can you do, but don't increase the time. You can't keep up the pace. Don't try and use other machineries or instruments to try to. And if you go on the Facebook comments, you're going to see it there, and we can try and do research about. I know, please, if you know any book, please go and drop it on the comment for us. If you do any research for us, because people are suffering with this addiction, so that they can know that their intervention outside is not really demonic. It's not something that cannot be done. We can get there. It's going to take a lot of effort from the partner. And in this instance about this man, we really thank you very much for standing by your wife. So try and know that you are during the withdrawal period. It can get annoying, but you have to be patient with her. It's like she's going to have withdrawal symptoms. She's going to be angry. She's going to be frustrated. But even in any therapist, that's what they do. Gradually, they wean them off it, and you'll find out that your wife, and I even find out that there are medication that they can use. Actually, there's some medication that they can use to curb the urge, just like they do. It's the urge. It's the urge. It's just like somebody, they're used to it over time. So it comes up and they're insatiable. But by the grace of God, I'm sure God can curb this, and you have your wife to enjoy. Don't rush to leave her as you want to do now. Let's explore about therapists. Fortunately, where you are, I'm not saying where, but you are in a kind of advanced country. There are a lot of resource therapists, especially cognitive behavior therapists, is going to sort this out. Both of you, they will invite both of you. I can do research for you if you still call me to find out, but I don't want to get involved in that process, so you don't think I know what they're saying behind. So go and find one. Some might be cheap. Speak to counselors, and then things will be done by the grace of God. And you can be your own priest in your own home. The man is an honorable man. She will be fine eventually, but she needs your support. Yes, by the grace of God, I will. I've not started speaking to the woman. The man just sought my counsel because he got tired and he wanted to leave. So after this video, I'm going to ask him to let her watch it. Then if she agrees, then both of them can contact me, and then we'll start talking, and I can refer them to counselor to let them know there's no big deal in anybody speaking to a counselor. And by the grace of God, I'm sure she's going to get better. So she needs help. People like it could be a man at the same time. Let's flip over. Thank God we are all mentioning it because it's a woman and there's no big deal. Some men have worse. Sometimes the health insurance picks the tab. All right, for the therapy, maybe where you are, in America, in UK here, I don't think health insurance will pay for therapists. Anyway, I've not had any cost to see any therapist. I can find out, but I'll try and write that on the comment on Facebook. If you can, okay, maybe I know if you can help us to write that on the Facebook comments or under the video after I finish the video. I'll see if I can do some comments and apologize to people for the video ending. So that is by and large of it. The guy should be very, very it's going to be difficult because she's going to have mood swings because it's a withdrawal period, but we need to withdraw her from the addiction. We need to reduce it, minimize it. Thank God you have married her and you'll find out that you enjoy your woman. You'll be a good married by the grace of God. You have really done well. And for every man that is out there, you're suffering from such, or your wife is suffering from such, there's hope. Don't leave them, but don't fuel it as well. Don't just say, she wants it, she wants it, she wants it. It's when you know it's not normal. If you listen to the video from the start, I tried to identify and address all those issues. So we came to conclusion that it is an addiction, though not confirm. I'm not a therapist, but it sounds like an addiction, and we're going to approach it by withdrawal ways of treating addiction. And I'm sure by the grace of God, God is going to restore peace to your home. Thank you, everybody, on Instagram, especially some of you that you Facebook shut down on you. We're really sorry. I apologize on Facebook, on behalf of Facebook, and on behalf of myself. On YouTube, thank you very much. My viewers on YouTube, God bless you. I'm not sure if few people are online. Thank you very much. And on Facebook, everyone, thank you. I really appreciate. The Lord bless you. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to see you again. Let's know what's happening in your world. Let's crack it together. We are building together, and the God of peace will give us peace overall in Jesus' name. Have a wonderful night rest. The Lord keep us and be with us and make his face to shine upon us. Shalom, everyone. Good night.